control. And when she hold it like that.
Mash up, mash up, mash up, mash up. Touchdown, the whole place shell down, and all of the normal gas up gangster talk. But we ain't do this for a while. Somebody just asked if that's me singing this. I'll give him the link in the thread. Feel free to share the video, people. That's why we're here. There is a marked apathy in Trinidad and Tobago right now. I have never felt a country, this country, so unconcerned about itself. And it's failing forward, and it's failing fast. Let's talk about that. Every single month, the bank giving you a new update on the foreign exchange that you can't get. You get 5,000, you get 4,000, you get 3,000, you get 2,000, you get 1,000. For Christmas, you could have 500. Now, courts, standards, fence, and all the automobile dealer showroom, all them clothes importers, packed to capacity. All the KFC, TGI Friday, McDonald's, Burger King, all of them paying their royalties, paying their franchise fees, and that don't leave here in Trinidad and Tobago dollar. Nobody. Not even the people who supplying cocaine to Trinidad and Tobago want Trinidad and Tobago dollar. Trinidad and Tobago dollar serves one purpose, to enrich the people who benefit from the spread. Because everything that we buy and everything that we sell is in US dollars, are in US dollars. And it comes to Trinidad for them to buy it from you for $6 and sell it back to you for $6.77 in the bank if you're lucky. But the banks selling, like in the 80s, a commissioner of police told us, you couldn't get US from the bank. You couldn't get US from central bank. You had to go by a certain Middle Eastern gentleman who seemed to always have been awash in foreign currency and was willing to sell you above and beyond market price. And that's going on now. We have an entire government, Ministry of National Security and Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, focus on one little black boy and his DSS, Susu, with a 22 million. $22 million. We spend that on education in this country every day. We spend that on public health in this shithole, in this latrine pit. We spend $25 million every day. So, what's his name? Preez? What is all boy name? Preez? He and his little $22 million Susu can't damage this country. But all them business that's selling foreign exchange, $8, $9, and $10. The question is, simply put, to the Prime Minister, Kate Rowley, you are in charge. You are where the shit stops flowing down the barrel. It stops by you. You're the shit stop. Tell us how to stop this shit, Kate Rowley. You have a lot of information for a lot of things that have no value. Vacuous and inane nonsense. You have nonsense for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But like Vasant Bharat and his 30 push-ups, it is of no consequence. You all have no value. You all speak to nothing that affects anybody's lives. And that's why people just don't care anymore. Trinidadians don't care. If Trinidadians walking down the road and this whole block catch a fire, they'll cross the road. I don't think they're going to film it anymore. We see a fire already, yeah, they see fire. They see fire, yeah, don't worry about that. Trinidadians, total apathy, they don't care. They don't care. You had to come. The news had to make up extensive shit because nobody can explain how the people who have US to sell get in the US. And nobody could explain how Ford, Toyota, Nissan, Fence, Standard, Courts, because Fence have 100 million showroom and Courts have the biggest distribution center in the Western world in Trinidad, and they always have about 30-40 containers offloading, where Standards and Fence and Courts, because if they're not exporting, and if they are, then I apologize upfront. If Standards is exporting, if Fence is exporting more than they're importing, then they're entitled to the foreign exchange. But we have to ask, because the average citizen calling me and messaging me and saying, Philip, I'm trying to get money to pay my child's school fees. They go throw him out of school. They go throw her out of school. I can't pay for the apartment. She's staying by she friend, and they still need some money for food and for medicine and things that you need, your personal hygiene. 500 US not cutting it. You can't give a whole family 500 US. They have some people have 2 and 3 children abroad studying, and they come to the government for gate, they come for sidewalk, they come for door, they're spending their own money. But by Christ, let them be able to buy some US for their children. They want nothing from you, like the 40% of the population that you're mining, that you gain free water and free electricity to, that will never have to pay $1 in property tax into the treasury. So the rest are we mining them. But these people who spending their own hard-earned money to send their children to school, by Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, and the pantheon of gods, you jackasses in government, help the people get the foreign exchange. Because if the Chinese Weiwei banker have US to sell, where it coming from? Can't be coming from China. China is sending US to Trinidad to sell for TT. Trinidad dollar is worth less than a roll of American toilet paper. So nobody outside this shithole want it. Nobody. In this shithole, that monopoly money is to pretend is a currency. It's for us to go and buy Palori and Pakachana and pretend we trading and we own dollar. 1.4 million people have their own freaking dollar. But everything on the shelf, buy with US. The nail that holding the mother ass shelf to the wall, come to Trinidad, US dollars. So who we fooling? And Vasant with your 30 push-ups and Kamala. I mean, oh God, Kamala, you're like the walking dead now. You could not do it better, girl. You could not say, all right, I'm going and step down. Rudal, Suruj, Tim, anybody, come out, come out. I endorsing everybody. You could not give Vandana a little nod, girl, Kamala. You know you can't make a next 5 years. They're going to have to drag you with a dog chain. You know that. You know you're waking up wheezing. Man had to light your cigarette for you and your hand shaking. What you still doing there? If you make it through the next 5 years to 2025, what you going to do if you win the election? What? Operate from a bed? What you going to do? You have to know better. But power is running all your mind, boy. All you who have nothing else going for your Kamala, you could not throw open the door. Bars, come back. Bring Michaela. Bring Rudal. Bring Tim. Anybody, not just 30 push-up jackass Vasant. Because look at what you do the UNC. Look at what you do them. You could at least give Jack Warner a chance. Look where you do the UNC. Look where you do them. Their choice is a tired, old, washed-up has-been or Kamala. That's the choices. And Kamala can't survive. You know you're not surviving. Vasant Bharat is so empty and devoid of any substance. He has to make videos of him batting balls. Brother man, it wasn't a batsman they say it was, you know. I hear they say it's a bowler man. So you should take videos of you bowling the ball. It's not batting they was questioning. And why that is what you giving UNC people as a reason to vote. Whether you can bowl, field, bat. How is that important to them? How is your 30 tired girly push-ups of any value to the poor people in the United National Congress, a not insignificant portion of the Trinidad's population who have no choice because they're living in a country where the ruling party has repeatedly sent the most racist directives at them. From recalcitrant minority to Calcutta ship to Rohan is the only honest Indian in it. Some shit like that. That's all they just get. That's all they just get. 30 years of PNM. They didn't get sidewalk, they didn't get drain, they didn't get power. They didn't get, the only time they was getting electricity and road is if it had to pass through them to reach by PNM constituencies. So they know and they're afraid and they hate PNM. You can't blame them. You can't blame them. So Kamala, what you doing them, girl? What you doing them? You gotta give them a shot. You gotta give them a chance. Because no matter what happens in this election, both you and Vasant unelectable. The only decent thing either of you could do, if you have an ounce of decency left in you, is right after you win, call a next internal election and do it properly this time. Give them 6 months. Come and join if you want to come and run. And give David Naked and Vandana and even Saddam a little chance. Let Jerlyn John throw she weave and she hat in the ring. Let what's this girl Anita in a party so devoid of any coherent sense Imagine Anita Haynes is a shining light. Anywhere else in the world, Anita quiet like a church mouse. But in the UNC, she could talk. Could nobody else could talk? Rudal Muniral could talk. But all I want Rudal, because Rudal hot like a Maruga scorpion pepper. And they just say what they want about Rudal. But I'll tell you something. If they have one person have a chance in that party to command, you see, it's too easy to chain up poor people. It's too easy to have them working against themselves. It's too easy to get them shit to hold and they walking around with that shit proud. Taking it to church with them and putting it next to the pew. Next to them on the pew. This is my shit, the government give me. Government shit. Because that's what we do. We don't stop to think rationally. We don't act coherently. We don't say, wait a minute, what we want is a proper run country. Phillip Alexander asking, where the Chinese Weiwei banker get the US money to sell? How come the FIU are asking that? How come the central bank are asking that? How come the Ministry of Finance are asking that? How come Rowley, who know what is national security challenge, how come he not asking that? How come CNC3 and TB6 and TTT and nobody, none of them people in 95.5, none of them people in 102.1, nobody know to ask a question to say, if the bank don't have US, where these people getting the US from? Where? Where they get it from? And all these big businesses that showroom packed with imported items valued in the tens of thousands of US dollars. Where that money come from? But we on Facebook talking shit every day. The more shit you get them, the more shit they're talking. We're interested in who talking race. We're interested in who drop a porn video. We're not interested in the 20,000 children that born this year, whose future bleak. Or the 20,000 are going to born next year, whose future dark. The country broken. It is completely broken. Nothing is being done. Now, you could say, let the devil take tomorrow. There are people in this country who, no matter what goes on, they get paid. Now the government. The government shut everybody else down, put everybody else's business in jeopardy, but they get their salary every month. That's bullshit. If one person was supposed to take the salary last, you ever hear family hold back? When you're having a dinner and more people show up than the food look like on the table, you still one another in the family hold back. I will never forget the Congress of the People under Winston Dukaran. I went to the first Christmas party as a proud COP member in some place they rent from some financier in San Fernando for a Christmas dinner. And all the big pappies went and eat first. And all of we wait. And I tell myself that is why that jackass should never see the corridors of power. Because he don't understand anything about how you're supposed to lead people. Not one iota. Winston Dukaran was a well-crafted joke in a country that had nothing. That's why Vassant could be an option. We get nothing. Our political system is set up so shitty that the UNC people who want change, they craving change, can't get a chance to vote for change. It locked in. You had a week, and they had certain criteria that could make sure that if you could take a chance to run, and anybody else who throw their hat, because Kamala hat in there, the same shit Pande used to do, because he hat in there, if you throw your hat in there, he's your enemy from now on. Here's a name, Makaram. This video wasn't meant to talk about the UNC, you know. This video wasn't meant to talk about the UNC. But I am no longer politically active. And on the landscape, there is nothing. There is nothing. My work is the Citizens Union. I will give the people of Trinidad and Tobago a counterbalance and support. Right now, this week, we solve a problem for all the students in the UE. The students in UE come to me in a mess. The UE, University of the West Indies, give a company named Pips the contract. You alone can take picture, and Pips drop it hard on the children and tell them it's $100 for a digital shot, and it is $570 for a printout shot, and you can't take no selfie. They're renting you the gun, and you're not even getting to see it or to edit it till 2021. Now, when they come to me, I tell them that is unenforceable. It is advantageous. It is not even lawful. What is the guild telling you? The guild afraid to touch it. What you we telling you? You will not saying nothing. You're not taking recall. I say, all right. Let out a release. Don't use my name. Because if you use my name, CNC3 and TV6 ain't going to touch it. Because there are a lot of things that I am coordinating for a lot of people behind the scenes so they get their media time. Because the corrupt propaganda, copy and paste media, corporate media in Trinidad and Tobago will continue to block me because they afraid me. But my role is not in politics anymore. See the Citizen Union of Trinidad and Tobago? They're solving real problem. We stop a bank in its tracks. We make sure that people get to bury the dead. We organize people to get room and doctor in the public hospital. We're making sure that when people come to us, they're getting real results. We call a press conference. We put out a press release. We promised to deal with it. And I told the children this time, okay, cool. Because it's now in the public space and everybody know. So if you don't act, we will act. I am not leaving you. I won't leave you alone like everybody else. So Pips had to come better. They had to allow the children to use the gun and take the selfie and post it on Facebook because Pips, you didn't spend the 4, 5, 6, 7 years these children spend studying to get whatever degree they get. You blasted fast. Take your money, put it in your crutch and hush. Don't be dictating nobody else's pace. I show the entire bandwagon all in Pips. If all the chip up, all they can't make 1 degree. All of these people here going to be your betters in a couple of years. Have some blasted respect. And treat the children with respect. Treat them with respect. But you see, this is, and I'm telling you, I'm not in politics no more. Citizens Union is going to give people power. And we're signing them up. And all the people who complaining that you're there first and you ain't get a call yet. And if you only know how hard these people working. Hard at it. But, and I want to tell you all now, take this number right now. If you have not yet been called, or if you've called and they didn't come and collect or whatever, 7694590. That's the boss. That's Felicia. She's in charge of the whole sign-up process. Call her direct and she will move whatever logjam. There are 2 numbers. Satish, please give it to Hadassah and crew to post on the thread. Satish, we need this. I think it's 471 CUTT and 6. But 471, there's another number and I'm waiting to get that info. And I'm sorry I don't have it on the top of my hands, the tip of my fingers, because we're supposed to get a list of those numbers. And as soon as I have them, I'll be able to give you. The reason I'm not doing the videos is every time we do live videos, 1,000 people is rushed to sign up. It's caused a lot more stress. But this Monday, we have things so well in place that is pace. So tonight you could sign up and go on citizensuniontt.org and fill out that form and sign up and they come into you. Or go to citizensuniontt.com and find the form and sign up. Click join. Or message me on 682-2110. Use me as a last resort because I still have to forward you. But trust me, if you forget everything else and all you know that, message me and I will make sure that you get your membership before this year done. And we're going forward from there. I and all of us who want to give people real representation, going to use the courts, going to use people power, going to use moral suasion, going to use every lawful, legal tool at our disposal that could complement our courage and our power, and we will make sure that nobody peanut punch coming off the shelf. We will make sure that everybody get to sell their peanuts in the Oval or nobody will go Oval. It is time that the people of Trinidad and Tobago had people willing to stand for them. That's what you've never had. You've had people stand up on you. Eric Williams ride your back like donkey. Manning do the same. Kick you up all in your head. Come now, man, donkey. Ride. We're talking sweet thing in your mind. Following bullshit in your ear. And taking public funds to build his girlfriend priestess at Cathedral in the bush. All remember that? It's still there. The foundation columns and beams still there. The roof was going up before we kicked their ass out of office. Remember that? 2010? Remember? Remember how bad it was when the Prime Minister could have taken public funds for his girlfriend priestess to go and build a cathedral, a Dwen Cathedral in the bush. But it's still there. And PM on the plans, PM on the drawings. It didn't stand for Patrick Manning. PM on the drawings didn't stand for Prime Minister. PM on the drawings was project manager. You fool we. Fool we, but it's so easy to fool we because all you vote the man Duncy head son into office to draw a fat salary and next Manning to ride you back like a fool. And I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you to do with your vote. I tell all you, your power is expressed three ways. Your vote, your labor, and your consumption. That's your power. That holds the country up. If you hold back, if everybody in Trinidad and Tobago hold back and don't spend $1 for a week, don't let them fool you, you know. Don't let them fool you. Don't spend $1 for a week. The banks start a ball. You see, that's why they don't come now at your property. They run out of excuses. And we are going to try to get a judicial review of all those who benefit from government handouts, make work schemes like URP and CPEP, all the people who benefit from HDC and NHA government housing. We want to know how many of them are PNM party card holders. Because if it is a significant proportion, then it means people who cannot and do not contribute to the treasury are being minded and supported by other people who do to vote against them. That can't be right. We need to know. Kamala overhearing that, and she's saying, you know that making sense? Let me thief that too. Let me plagiarize that. Philip talking on Sunday, we having a thing on Monday. We go ask Rowley on Monday, show me the list, Rowley. And our supporters, brr, brr, brr. You think it's only the PNM have sheep and seals? You think it's only the PNM? When you watch Kamala's supporters, they know she had to mainline IV caffeine to survive our next election. They know that. And chaining up the woman and blowing smoke up her ass to send her down the road, to send her into this madness. We have no hope in Trinidad and Tobago. They thief Petrotrin, they thief in the pitch lake, they thief in the port, they thief in TNTech, they thief in the B-Mobile, TSTT, they thief in everything of value. You're going to wake up in the country where you work for them, you pay, you spend by them, and you vote for them. That's what they're looking to do. That's called consolidating power. That's how dictatorships are born. The Citizens Union hopes to put a spoke in their wheel at every step because we are not going to sit idly by and let any handful of agenda whores use our public systems to loot this country. That Petrotrin thing could have never happened if the UNC didn't sit silent. If the UNC didn't sit silent, they could look Wayne Sturge alone. Wayne Sturge alone, he done throw away UNC and gone away. Jama spoke in the wheel, but settled because he realized he by himself. The UNC have more lawyer than this beach has sand. You trying to tell me they couldn't stand up for the people, but an election was coming, and then 4,500 OWTU votes had their head spinning. So it's not what right, it's what's feasible. And that's what drives these political organizations in this country. And I'll tell you something, the blocks that they put on my broadcast after the election, they removed them. It cost them money to block me. They removed them. And it showed you that my first couple videos, right after the election, 18,000, 20,000 people viewing. I didn't have to put on low-cut dresses, and I didn't have to dance while playing music. We are blocked, and we know that we are blocked. We are broadcasting through organizations that have to go to the Trinidad and Tobago Public Service to get its permissions to broadcast. So we know that we're being blocked, but the message still getting out. And I like that people copying and pasting and saving and sharing so that the message is still getting out. And I want to tell you, we're going to ramp it all the way back up again. I am going to be broadcasting almost nightly again. Now that the team that is responsible for signing up in Citizens Union tell me they're on top of it, we can take 1,000 a night, send it, or just sign up. The first 10,000 people getting it at a 50% discount for the first 3 years, that's $250 a year. There is a $100 fee. And Ragu sit down there and work out the numbers and say, but them gonna make money. But it's the same people that working for free for 26 years, that get handicapped people the parking space throughout this country, that make feeding the homeless and clothing them a fashion in this nation, that help get subventions for the orphans, and got the Children's Authority bill become law as the dangerous dog. We've made change, we've made difference. I can't begin to listen, tell you all the things that we've accomplished. But now this is a full functioning, properly run and funded organization, and it's opt-in. It's not a cult. You don't have to say, I'm black, I'm joining the PNM, I'm Indian, I'm joining the UNC. No, it's opt-in. You say, okay, this sounds like something I want to be a part of. I want a better country, and damn, I'm making sense, so I'm going with them. Oh no. Oh no. You could take that money and go and do whatever you want with it and enjoy it. It's worth about $3 a day for how long? A month? Go ahead. I couldn't begin to tell you right now, politically, what is the next play for Trinidad. But I could tell you, if we get 100,000 members, we will get the courts involved. You see, once you get the courts involved, then the Privy Council is a step away. And this is what we need funding for. We need to raise funds to pay proper attorneys to take matters through the court system. The government has to be sued. The public service has to be sued. The Ministry of Works has to account for every cent it has collected as a road tax on gasoline since it was implemented, not just under Rowley, not under Rowley and Kamla, since it was implemented and how it was spent. The government needs to account for WASA. Where does all that money go? How are people like Westridge Villas, Colm Imbert, built an apartment complex in Diego Martin near Rich Plain when Rowley was the Minister of Planning, and inside that place they have some tanks in the back, but they can't get no water connection to the apartments for some reason, and WASA billing them people regular for the past 20 years, and they'll pay the bill, or WASA will come and seize the little townhouse and sell it. And Imbert know. And you know who know too? Simon de Nobrega. Simon de Nobrega knows too, because Simon de Nobrega used to live there. How I know? I used to live there too. Simon was my neighbor. Simon two children born in Westridge Villa. Simon, who was the chairman for a little while of the Diego Martin Regional Corporation, is now a member of parliament for Diego Martin Central. Simon has the ability, if he wanted, to get involved, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Simon's work was to make sure he get himself somewhere so he can put some money in his pocket, because it must be tiring working for your father-in-law, especially when you break up with the man's daughter, that you need to get another work, get a PNM work. Because I used to talk to Simon when the UNC was in power, and Simon was very involved. There are a lot of people like him that are very involved, they have a lot to say about things and what's wrong and what should be right. And then when their party come in power, the same thing that's wrong, Clarence Rambarat, your Minister of Agriculture, he used to write in the Express. The man was prolific. He was busy on social media, talking about all the ills and all the wrongs. Now, join an MP, a minister's salary. Quiet. And that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with Trinidad and Tobago. Because too many people don't love the country. Too many people see Trinidad and Tobago as something to ride, something to take advantage of. Too many people see the country as something to molest, not something to invest in for your children. Plenty people outside there talking Trump and Biden. They knew they was marking time in Trinidad till they get a green card, a blue card, a yellow card, anybody will take a red card if it get them out of Trinidad. Because nobody wants to do this, what I do. But it growing when you bounce them up in the little wedding and the little engagement and they want to talk Philip. What's wrong with Philip, boy? Why Philip? Hush him. And the amount of people growing that saying, why you don't hush? At least the man trying and he fighting. If the country go down a hole, what we gonna do when you and your family jump on all your fancy boat, all your fancy plane and get out? What the rest of we gonna do? Kiss we ass, and the amount of people that are aware that there is one strong and powerful voice, the amount of people just come to me and say, boy Phil, supporting you a long time, you know, I never join nothing, I never send no money, I never really come and give you a hand, but I in a jam, boy. And you was right, Phil, you was right. Listen, I told you all years ago, I was right, don't put money in my bank account. I told you so to improve the flavor of my doubles and my roti. I don't want that shit. What I want you to do is wake up and get involved. Wake up and stand up. But don't feel that because the wolf's sniffing by you, that you come into me and jump in the queue. Because there are a lot of people that have helped this organization grow into the behemoth that it is right now. And those people, they have to get my attention first. But there will be people who, the weak, the elders, the kids, them UE students, I couldn't turn my back on them. I couldn't say all these members of Citizens Union, all they was in PEP, I couldn't say that. They need help, I'll help you. But I'll tell you this, they don't have one politician in this country could debate me. And they don't have one politician in this country as brave, as courageous as me. And I will debate them all. I want to tell you, the day we get the right size following, we change the whole country. All the people who in America trying to Biden down and Trump them down is because Americans buckled down and fixed their country. Canada fixed their country. Spain, Greece, Japan, these countries dealt with their shit, fixed their countries. Chinese, grab what they could have grabbed, bite big chunk out of Trinidad neck and run. To go somewhere else. I tell you this, piss me off. I don't mind if they unfriend me, the Trumamericans. They're mouth big about Biden and Trump, big. I tell you they're talking thing, and I laugh in, they're talking electoral college votes, get to 270. And I laugh at all of them. Because when you was in Trinidad, and the land of your birth, where you were not a stranger, right now you're a stranger in a next man's land. The land of your birth needed you. What? Your boyfriend had a work, your sister had a position, your mother was getting something, and everybody had a little thing, and we want to rock the boat. So we are rocking the boat, it's sailing to the waterfall. We're going to hit that iceberg, but we don't want to rock it. That is the madness of Trinidad and Tobago. We don't want to rock this boat, but we know that collectively it's going to slam into something at some point. At some point. And then you can tell me, boy, Phillip, it's true. I see Rowley in California, and I see Senator and his family in Florida, and all of them run. All of them run. When the shit hit the fan. Chinese want to come to Trinidad for carnival. And bring their friends. Oh yeah, we're from Trinidad, you know. We're originally from Trinidad. And then bring them for 2 weeks before carnival. Take them Blue Range and take them Marshall and give everybody bongs and hug up. Oh God, I see ya. How long I see ya. And but them have the biggest rag. Jump and wave. Trini. For 2 weeks. Using the country still. And that makes you disgusting. And it is people like that that is the reason Trinidad is like this. Because if Trinidadians could see red, white, black, green, and every shade in between, once there's a Trini, is my family, we could have fixed this place. We let a handful of cocaine importers over 30 years become billionaires, buying up the country, corrupt the whole public service. We have people who paying off public officials so that security not taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. There is nobody who could explain to me why the Coast Guard is in Chagaramas but our theater of operation is in Cedros. There is nobody who could explain to me why the helicopters was based in the north, but the theater of operations is in the south. There's nobody who could explain to me the 6,000 soldiers running around, jumping and rolling with Lagahu and Dwen down in the base. We don't need you. There's nothing there. There are no manikou trying to rob and rape people down in Chagaramas. We need them fellas trained and paid. You see, you give Gary that. You give Gary the army. Augment the police. They don't even have gun. They don't even have, you ever see the size of some of them fellas in the army? Just get them some butu. You see that fella who slapped that police? He had never slap a soldier. Monkey know which tree to climb, literally. And if all you feel police going and soften he, I witness soldiers soften a man. I had to intervene to save him. And the soldiers all the way choke up in Chagaramas. 3 square meals a day of no value to the country. We there in case back up, pick up a gun. 114 Muslimin. No national security apparatus. 10,000 police and soldiers get caught off guard. I hope that fix. But I take them up Chagaramas. I tell them they have a radar dish in this country before there were satellites in space. They had a radar dish in this country, the first of its kind. They could track an LPG cylinder flying through the air anywhere in the world. So we know that day since the 50s, it don't work no more. I was just using it as an example. People say we can turn it on. The education system in this country leaves our people functionally illiterate and bobbing because they don't understand a lot of things. But I took them to show them that that technology exists. The Yankee come and cut their own road. If you wanted a radar system tonight, they say, but you can't see a fiberglass pirogue. No, but they're not rowing. They're not rowing, and unless they have carbon fiber or plastic engine, you're going to see the engine, you're going to see the heat signature of the petroleum engine, because they're not rowing the boat from Venezuela to Chagaramas, jackass, but that's PNM for you. PNM just get them, fill them up with righteous ignorance, you know. They have satellites in space that can track the heat signature coming out your nostril. Right now, in America. And we can ask them for help. Boss, here what we want. We want a wall. Nothing must pass. That's what we want. A wall. Nothing must pass. A man tell me, a man come on my wall and tell me, you know, jackass, that's a satellite station. It's not a radio. I said that in Trinidad before Sputnik, the first satellite ever launched into space was launched. That was built in Trinidad and tracking. It's a radar. That's what it was, a radar. It was radar tracking station, Macquarie. That's what the Americans called it. Yeah. Righteous ignorance. We have them armed and ready with that. They're all over social media. And they have backup. And next clown. So I put the 2 of them on blast and I copy and screenshot it and I say, look, 2 jackass who don't know how to use Google. They don't know how to use Google because it built in the 50s and Sputnik wasn't launched before. So there was no satellite fit to track. How? Why would it be a satellite? But they didn't check. Manning bought a 360-degree radar. We have a ball up in Chagaramas that could see Florida and Brazil. We could see down inside South America. You're telling me we can't see when they're loading them boat. And I tell them, if you don't have nobody, if the Coast Guard and them busy mopping boat, and listen, officers of the Army and the Coast Guard, you can't get vexed with me, you know. Because it's only a boss and them, whoever it is designed the system to work like this. And I know you're drawing a salary. But I can't pretend that shit is sugar. And I asked the state, if you have nobody to monitor the country's borders, plug the feed into social media. and tell Trinis, we give you a reward. Track any boat coming from South America that moving dubiously in the water. Give the information to 482 Gary. Gary getting back a Marine Patrol. The Coast Guard could stay up in Shagaramas. When Gary get the Marine Patrol, he could broaden his horizons. And anyway, my brother, Dr. Paul Elias Alexander, he wanted to make a contribution to the conversation. So I told him I'd call him because he was very involved, and I hope he's still available right now. But he was very involved in the COVID-19 response internationally. So I'll see if he's still available. If I don't get him, he might call me back. He wanted to make a contribution to give Trinis some update as to things that we should know. Hopefully he see the missed call and call me back. Yeah. Because he 408,226 people in the world this year have died from hunger. And there's a vaccine for hunger. It's called food. It works straight away and has no side effects. Shall we solve hunger first and then worry about a virus that has more than 99% survival rate? You can't argue with the logic. You really can't argue with the logic. The Americans tell the Chinese you will pay for COVID-19. The Chinese say as soon as you pay for AIDS. Can't argue with that. And people say that the people who manufacture the things that have the 3 and 4 tablespoons of sugar like Coke and SN Jaleel and Pepsi, and they say, but people have choice. But a bottle of water in the gas station more expensive than a bottle of soft drink, and a salad in McDonald's or Burger King with 9 pieces of lettuce, 2 little quarter tomato, and maybe a piece of cucumber is more than a whole burger with bread, mayo, pepper, lettuce, and tomato. It is deliberately so. And if you think that it is not deliberately so, I can't help you. Because there are 3 organizations in this world that benefit from the way the world is. And that is the military complex, the pharmaceutical industry, and the banks. Those 3 organizations dictate the pace of just about everything on planet Earth. So we owe trillions of dollars as a world, but nobody can tell you who we owe it to. But all of these things, too deep a conversation to have with many people whose whole life is sleep, wake up, piss, shit, coffee, talk about your coffee, make a meme, I am no good without my coffee. Because the coffee industry chain you up to talk that shit to make you feel like you belong. Like the woman. I remember when Bernays, Freud's nephew Bernays, conned women into believing that cigarette smoking gave them liberation at the time of, that's why Virginia Slims, we've come a long way, baby. Yes, to cancer, to lung cancer, stroke, and heart disease. You've come far. You've come a long way. But it's easy to chain people up and fool them and believe things that really are not true or real. It is far too easy. And you know what? You can't fix everything, but what I really would like to fix, I would like to fix that Trinidadians treat this country with a little more respect. That Trinidadians stood up together for each other. People talking. I put out a notification, security, personal safety alert number 1. I put out, and I told Trinidadians, home invasions are on the rise. And I told them a lot of things that they could do to protect themselves, their family, and their neighborhood from home invasions. 6 weeks later, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service agreed. And they said yes. Home invasions are on the rise. You see, social media was sharing the information even though Guardian and CNC3 and TV6 and Express can't or won't. But people were still getting the information. So the police had to admit it is a reality, but still no guidance as to what you should do. I told members of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, keep my number. Because I am dealing with an organization right now that is looking to set up a security response initiative that members could take part in, and they're doing a rollout in the Northwest. But if you're a member of the Citizens Union, once you have cameras on your house and you give them access to the feed, they're giving you a panic button. You can have it all through the house, a panic button. And if something is going on by your house, press that panic button and you get a wireless one to it. You just pay for it, everything costs money. But you know that in the moment, if somebody trying to break in your door, you press that panic button, somebody calling your phone ringing. And if you don't answer, they're on the way. But if you answer and you say, hey, that was a mistake, tell me the passcode. And you tell them they might have a secondary phrase just in case you have a gun to your head. And they're still monitoring your house cameras because your alarm trip. They're monitoring your house to see if anything unusual around your house. So that while the police come in, you're getting a response to your house. And bandit don't want that. So all you need to do is get yourself, and we advise you in our bulletin, create a safe room. Change a door. Change a door to a bedroom. Take out the wood door, put in a steel door, 4 hinges, and on the side of the hinges, when the door closed, you could put something like a deadbolt is on the back of the door. And when the door closes, it's closed into a receptacle, so you can't break out the hinges, you can't push it out. And once door's in and that bolt in, you can't move the door. So we say that, you could create that, and in an emergency, we will respond to you. You ever see that ad with the person, I've fallen and I can't get up, you think they click? That's the panic response we're giving you. So as you get it, they're mobilizing to come to you. And the guarantee is 3 minutes. So you just secure yourself and your loved ones for 3 minutes or less. And I told Citizens Union members, keep my number, 682-2110. Because after you talk to the security people and you have 3 minutes to kill, call me. Because I'll make sure the police service in the area knows that we know that you are under threat. We are watching it on cameras. A response is coming. And an armed security response is coming. The police should be there to meet them. Yeah? That's coming soon. Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago. Other people telling you, get a horn and blow it. So they blow it in Fairways, and they blow it in Hillsborough. It didn't do nothing to the bandits. The bandits left. And the bandits gathered at bandit headquarters. Once a month there is a meeting of bandit contingents, and they're talking about these horns. Because the first time you surprise them, the second time now, they realize it's prolific. I remember when every car in this country, when you get in your car, you used to open this big fork thing that you used to put on the steering wheel, or one that used to lock around the transmission. And fellas used to break in people's car just to disable it and leave it on the seat and close back the door. To let you know that if we wanted your car, we was going. And I'm not saying don't get the horn and make the noise and all that shit. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying don't put your family's survival, don't bet it on a loud noise alone. Don't bet it on a loud noise alone. Everybody wanted a firearm user's license until they had to pull that trigger. Because remember, after that, it becomes an investigation, and you need to be able to prove that it was a good kill. And other people tell me it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 9, and all of that sounds pretty. Pretty talk, pretty talk. Pretty, but it doesn't operate like that. Will it be available for citizens in the East? The rollout is in the Northwest, but it will go national, and national includes Tobago. And as it is rolled out in an area, it can be rolled out nationally because we don't have a $9 billion national security budget. But what we're doing is what the police service could be doing or should be doing, might be doing. We are going to monitor all the cameras of our members on a panic press. On a panic press, the command center pull up your cameras. So your 8, 16, 14 cameras now on their screen. So they're watching your driveway and they're watching your house and they're watching to see what's going on around you while the dispatch team is on the way. Now, that's going to cost you. It is not free. It doesn't come with your Citizens Union membership. It is only available to Citizens Union members. But you're going to pay for it. But I want to ask you something. What is the price while you're in that bedroom, holding that doorknob, and you're hearing 10 people inside your house, and you're watching your loved ones? What's the price you'll pay right there and then to save them? Make that as the contribution. Because I'm telling you, you're living in a country where we didn't act collectively, we didn't vote collectively, we don't have a proper government. So the army's still running around in the bush playing Lagahoot catch. And the Coast Guard still mopping boat down in Chagaramas, and the boats, the helicopters grounded. We have no helicopters. A man went missing in the sea. We could not even send a drone. We could not even send a drone to look for the man. First, this is a shithole. And not only had to care, because it wasn't your loved one. That's Trinidad. Somebody says, my concern would be a guaranteed 3-minute response. And that's why I'm saying it is going to be rolled out in area by area. Because a 3-mile radius of the command center gives you a 3-minute response. And all you need to do is overlap zone after zone. A 3-mile radius in Westmoreland gives you all of Westmoreland, Goodwood Gardens, Goodwood Park, La Hoqueta, all of that. So I'm telling you, 3 minutes real. And the 3 minutes is because the vehicles that responded, depending on the volume, if you have, I just joined your reference in the West. If PT Valley is part of it, and you have a lot of people from PT Valley, then you need a mobile command center driving up and down Mount Coco Road. Just driving up and down. You're already in PT Valley. That's how the police operates in New York City. I told you all that. I told you all that 3-4 years ago. I told you all that a Progressive Empowerment Party government will shut down the police stations. That in every constituency, there'll be a command center. And every police officer going on shift to that command center. And Caranage police coming there, getting their instructions, loading up in their mobile command centers, and heading there. My brother Paul, we live now. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, but what time your show started?
We started a little while ago, but we had a lot of things to touch on. You available to talk now?
Yeah, I'm available to talk. So it's not an hour, it's just minutes, right?
You could do your thing. You talk for as long as you need to talk. Everybody, this is my brother Paul, Dr. Paul Elias Alexander. He's an epidemiologist, among other things, and he's actively involved in the search for the cure or the response to COVID-19. Where are we with that, Paul?
Well, right now, thanks for having me on the show, Philip. Well, I guess I don't know how to address that question. The issue is, I think what's more important is what's Trinidad's response to Tobago versus other countries in the world, first world countries and lesser developed countries, etc. And that's what I, as a Trinidadian too, and I know a lot of the uncertainty insecurity and the fear out there and the lack of understanding that I myself limited in some ways too. There's a lot to don't. The reality is today. So when I speak, I'm gonna speak from a first world North American point of view.
Could I ask you a question before you go forward? There's some information I have as to where you have been based for the last couple of months. You could share that yet?
Well, I mean, it's not. I wanna respond to you from the point of view that I don't want anything to impact your work and your advocacy in the islands. So, so that's why people operate themselves in a way so that what person A doing does not affect person B, because I know, look, I come from Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad is a Moveland, Macomere, confusion country. So everything is about chaos and screwing everybody up. I'm talking to you as a Trinidadian here, and you're my brother.
You have to.
Right? So don't take it the wrong way. I'm talking to you.
Let them know all the Alexanders have a certain strength of character. When we speak, we don't hold nothing back. You talk.
Right. Well, I mean, I see. I don't know where people stand, and the reality about it is, well, I mean, how blunt could I be in to answer that
You'll
question?
be very blunt. You could speak your mind on this show.
When I had joined the United States administration, at a certain point last year, I was asked regarding COVID to help in the response. So I had a behind-the-scenes role in the infectious diseases response policy and a data point of view. So working directly with the administration, United States government.
With Fauci? He was working with Fauci?
I'm not going to comment on who. Just know I had a direct link.
I understand. I just pulling it. Continue.
Yeah. I can't discuss any of that.
Understood.
Good. So, what I wanted to say is this. Where we are in November 15th or whatever the date is today, 2020, is very different than where we were in February 2020.
Indeed.
The reality about it is that from a medical point of view, we know so much more today. We know how to better manage the sequelae if one is infected, especially if you're elderly at risk. We know what to do. We know how to get the hospitals geared up. We know who the at-risk group is. So we're in a much better situation. The real challenge right now for most countries was that they failed to adequately lock down the elderly in the nursing homes. The nursing homes in most countries, in fact in any country, account for the vast majority of the deaths, because that's where most of the elderly are. Now,
From influenza, annual flu and stuff.
what?
You mean annually flu, influenza and stuff, not just COVID-19?
Yeah, for most illnesses, and I'm speaking from a European point of view and a North American point of view. Now, I know the Caribbean islands is a little tacitly different because we, with our philosophy and our kind of family living, we tend to keep the elderly home longer. So we don't have more than half of the elderly population in a nursing home. In places like North America, United States, or Canada, or Britain, etc., greater than one half of the elderly population in some kind of institutional setting. That's why 60 to 70% of the deaths from COVID in those countries are from elderly who came from old age homes. At some point, they got infected, were in the home, then went to the hospital for treatment, and they died there. But they died when they were released back to the home. They got severely ill. So the point is that we failed to adequately treat them in the homes. Why? Because most of the cases were coming from the staff that were allowed to leave at the end of their shift on a day, go home, get infected in the community, and come back. A lot had to do with the nursing home lobby, the money-making part of it for the nursing homes, because it's private industry. So these people have a lot of blood on their hands. They kill a lot of people in North America and in Europe because of money. Also, the bureaucrats in the government in a lot of these first world countries did not take the nursing home industry and the nursing home lobby out to task and regulate them properly and enforce that the nursing homes must not allow the staff to go home and keep the staff for 1 week, 2 weeks at a time, keep them on site, properly house them, whatever. So that has been a severe problem. Now, I know that in the Caribbean, we may not be facing that, but still the elderly at risk. The good news is we know better now how to treat. Problem is, and that's why I said, Philip, if you wanted to talk, we could talk. The problem is that we don't have the treatments in the Caribbean. The Caribbean elderly who are going to die are the poor Caribbean elderly because they can't get the proper treatment in the hospital. They're going to get the treatment late. They can't get the proper support that they need because we know of 90-year-old people in North America who are COVID positive, so they're the highest risk group. They have 2 or 3 underlying grave medical conditions that would kill them absent of COVID. Yet, when they do get COVID and they do progress in the sequelae, they do get severe illness, we could still keep them alive. We have ways of supporting them and keep them, and they emerge from the hospital setting. So we know it works. I don't know, and I don't think we have that kind of support for the elderly in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's the issue.
So a lot of the people who think that COVID-19 is some sort of a hoax because we didn't get the millions dead that we were panicked about by the World Health Organization and the 24-hour news cycle in February and March. By April, the world was in complete panic that we were the food chain was going to collapse and that people were going to be dropping dead in the street. That didn't happen. But some people believe that because that didn't happen, that COVID-19 is somehow some kind of Bill Gates hoax or some kind of nonsense. So is there anything that you could say to get people to understand what exactly the reality is of COVID-19 is now that you are aware of it?
Well, let's put it this way again. You have to start from the position that there's a lot that we're learning every day. So nobody could say that they are full expert on issues. That's number one. Number two, I want to go on record to say this. I could imagine that within Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean islands, they have very good public health people in some aspects of it who want to do good, smart people, driven people, passionate people, but their hands tied to by what is available to them. And they're very limited also. So I don't want to go on record saying negative things, but let me just answer your question. COVID is a catastrophic illness, devastating illness for elderly. In the beginning, in January and February, when the cases in North America began to emerge, we didn't have our arms around it as to what exactly had come from China. We didn't know exactly who the at-risk group was, what was the clinical consequences of infection. We didn't know how long the infection would take for disease to develop, etc. So today, we now know that the at-risk group is the elderly, a median age of about 82, with at least 1 to 2 underlying grave conditions. That is a fact, and it is devastating to that age group with medical conditions. If you are in a setting like Trinidad and Tobago or other Caribbean islands that do not have any support for them, because I'm telling you, in North America and Europe today, we can't take people in those grave situations and they could survive and live. So that's number one. We know who the at-risk group is, and yes, it's a real issue, but yes, it's like seasonal influenza that devastates the elderly. You see, the problem is for us in the world is this. When Granny and Grandpa used to get to like 80, 82, 85, and we put them in a old age home, out of sight, out of mind, we knew that it was a tail end and it was going to pass on any time. Next minute, the black van would come in the night because they would get pneumonia or the flu while they're in the nursing home and they would die. you get your call, you know, granny pass or your mother pass. You say, well, all right, well, we put them there. It was at the end of life. It's not as sad. It was like a normal rite of passage. So we never gave it much thought. We lose many people, tens of thousands every day in North America and Europe from influenza. Every single day. Every single day, thousands of people die. Elderly people over 80, 75, 80, who are gravely ill. So COVID does not behave differently than influenza, etc. Those severe respiratory illnesses that the elderly experience normally. Okay, so it's a fancy name COVID, but it behaves the same exact way. The problem was that in the beginning, we didn't know what was happening with this COVID. We didn't understand it, so we got scared. And we were seeing these pictures in Italy of bodies piling up on the sidewalk, etc. But the media bullshit liars that they are, the duplicitous media in North America, in Europe, across the world, even in the islands, in Trinidad too, they lied. They did not tell the populations of the world that the median age of death in Italy was 83. They didn't tell people that the Italians had totally grave illnesses that would have killed them without COVID. These people were dying before COVID. But they didn't tell us that the Italians were the highest smokers in Europe. They didn't tell us that the Italians also had the highest rate of COPD.
But they also didn't say that northern Italy was being used as a cover for made in China to say it made in Italy with a backdoor direct to Wuhan for labor. They didn't say those things. So that the virus that found its way into Europe, that decimated Italy in the earlys, came there straight from Wuhan. So it's only when that information came out and when the mayor of northern Italy had said, let's not be xenophobic citizen, and brought coronavirus into the house.
Correct. So the problem is the media drove the fear and the disinformation to the rest of the public and the world. There are many, many guilty parties here, brother. You have WHO, which was covering for China. You had China, January the 14th, January the 21st, coming out and telling the world in February also that there is no human-to-human transmission of COVID. That was a devastating, consequential set of news releases. And then WHO was complicit with them and covering for them. Because when they made those statements, the rest of the world stepped back, especially Europe, etc., and didn't constrain the borders as they should have. And then China, on top of that, we have evidence, strong evidence, that China locked the rest of China down from Wuhan. So they stopped flights, any kind of movement out of Wuhan from the rest of mainland China, but allowed flights to leave Wuhan and to go to the Europe and the United States.
To go to Italy, they were coming from Italy into Spain and other countries. We learned that after the fact, when it was already too late and they had killed people. But I don't want to get too much into the politics of who. I don't want to get too much into the politics of who should have done what when. But what people really want to know now is what is the level of contagion, what is the level of danger, what is the level of fear they should be operating at.
Yes, let's not talk about the past. Let us deal with today. Listen, these are the hard facts. COVID, so the SARS-2 virus is a severe virus for elderly people over 80 years old who are compromised already with some illnesses. That's statement one. Statement two, COVID gives way to age. So if you're not over 80, 75, 80, and you don't have medical conditions, but you're younger, so let's say you're 40, but you have one or two grave medical conditions that you get in medical attention for, etc. So you're like you're under treatment for diabetes and asthma and severe breathing difficulties, etc. normally, like severely ill, then you have a problem. meaning you have to make sure that you don't get infected. Number 3, COVID gives way age. Remember, the key risk group is people over 80 with medical conditions, but it will give away age to morbidly obese people. I'm not talking about somebody that's 10, 15 pounds overweight. I'm talking about people 300, 350 pounds, severely morbidly obese, 400 pounds. And there are many of them walking about Trinidad. Many of them in America. Let me explain it to you this way. Almost 1/2 of the deaths in the United States and in Britain from COVID were morbidly obese people. When they got into the emergency room, they couldn't actually get them into the ICU properly. They couldn't properly intubate them. They had severe breathing difficulties to begin because of their weight, and then the intubation wouldn't work effectively. We also know that the best way to intubate for COVID, these kind of pulmonary illnesses, is to prone the person. That's to flip them over onto their stomach. It's very difficult to take a 400-pound person and put them on their stomach and then try to ventilate them with the tube, etc. So obesity is a major, major problem. The news don't like to talk about it, else they're going to offend people. But is this bullshit?
But why CNN pretend? Why CNN pretending that is good and decent and slim people that Trump infect and kill? This is the bullshit of the media, right? Because they have things that you know that if you spoke it, people would, I mean, but as I said earlier in the video tonight, people, you give them shit in their hand to hold, they walk around with it proud, yes? Continue.
Right. Yeah. So the at-risk groups are the elderly over 80 with morbid conditions. If you are younger, like a 40-year-old, as I said, but you have grave medical conditions, you have to try and make sure, protect yourself, don't get infected right now, as we source things like vaccine and shit. That's number 2. Number 3, if you are morbidly obese, don't care your age, if you're 20 and you get infected with COVID, they have a problem. It seems that the virus accumulates in the adipose fatty tissues more, and they have cells there in the adipose tissue, the ACE2 receptors allows the virus to get into the whole cells more efficiently and effectively. So they have a means why excessively overweight people are at greater risk for breathing difficulties and cardiovascular.
But your diaphragm carries the extra weight on a normal situation. So when you add something like, I say a diaphragm, raising that extra weight, yeah, I mean that's counted. It stands to reason. Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it that if you're excessively overweight, you're morbidly obese, you have breathing difficulties to begin with, your lungs less compliant, you're struggling. So in a way, COVID is a wake-up call to people about their health and how they live. But you see, they're listening to another important point, Philip. This is an important issue that you need to understand here. COVID has revealed that it is a condition of disparity, socioeconomic status. What I mean by that is this. I just said more than 1/2 of the people who have died in America, especially the frontline nurses. When they talk about frontline workers like some doctors and nurses who have died, I know the data. I could tell you these people were morbidly obese nurses.
That's why they weren't sharing the data, Paul. They didn't want us to know that there were actual underlying causative reasons that people succumbed to COVID-19.
Well, look, I want to be as blunt here, and I want your listeners to understand this, and if you write it down so you could keep telling them, and if the blockhead public service people, public health morons we have in the islands don't understand this data, let me tell it to you slowly and clearly now and remind them, right? Prime Minister Rowley, I have respect for the Prime Minister, he holds the Prime Minister's office. So write him, say, in North America, I have the data clear, plain. It's very straightforward. Persons 0 to 19 years old, we are including newborn infants, all children, all teenagers up to 19. Your chance of survival, if you are COVID positive, is 99.997%. I will say it again, 99.997%. not dying with COVID positive status is 99.98%, almost 100%. If you are 50 to 69 years old, the chance of your survival, that means not dying with COVID positive status, is 99.5%. That means almost everyone 0 to 70 years old who are testing positive for COVID will not go on to severe illness or death. Period. That is, once you do not have grave underlying medical conditions. If you are a reasonably healthy person and a healthy adult, 0 to 70 years old, you will have no clinical consequences from COVID. You will likely have no symptoms if you test positive, or very mild symptoms. You might feel a little headache. Say, I had a bad flu for about an hour. I had a one-day flu, like a bad stomach flu. That's it. It's the people who have underlying medical conditions, 70 and over, who have to be very careful. Those are the people who may develop consequences. Those are the people who need to see your medical practitioner and to get assessed. Over that, you might have to go to the hospital, get ICU care. If we have the ICU care available now, we know how to treat it. We have drugs today that will stabilize the person, deal with the inflammatory response, help the breathing. We have forms of oxygenation we can give them now, and the people could survive. The problem is when in a developing country like Trinidad and Tobago, when you have the elderly, exactly what I just described it to you, who are poor, who have to go to the Port of Spain General or the San Fernando General, where they don't have proper ventilation, they don't have the drugs available, etc., and they will die. And that's it. It's a death sentence for them. It's the rich people who are going to survive and get ventilators in their home, down in the islands, etc. So that's the key. The key is, what has the government done for the last 9 months? Okay? That's your question to the government. You've had 9 months of locking our ass down. You have us under perpetual house arrest, the people. What did you do? Did you put the right services in place? Did you source the correct drugs? Because it's working all over the world. So, did you do that? Did you get the proper ventilators?
But
did you get what you needed?
are other countries going back into lockdown? I hear in European countries.
Yes, they have. They have some countries foolishly because they're panicking. But let me explain it to you this way. I just explained to you the data. Now I explain it to you this way. There's absolutely zero evidence. None. Nowhere in the world. Absolutely none. Zero. The lockdowns work. If you lock a society down, as we did to most countries in this world, all we did was delay the inevitable. The virus waits. When you reopen, the cases will escalate and people will die. Case closed. Lockdowns are not effective. Lockdowns work. We quarantine only on an age-targeted approach. If you use an age-targeted approach, it can be effective. What do I mean by that? I mean, in your society, you target people 70, 75 and older. You go to them and you say, listen, this is the situation. We need to get you to quarantine yourself until we wrap our hands around this. Either vaccine, etc. If that takes 5 months more, a year, that's the way it is. You quarantine the at-risk people only. You never lock down a healthy, well society. The healthy part of the society, 70 and below, well people, must be allowed to live normal lives.
No social distancing, no masks.
They must be allowed to be infected. They must be allowed to commingle. They must be allowed to spread pathogen amongst each other. You might think, well, what's he talking about? Actually, Philip, I am talking epidemiology 101. You never ever
No,
lock
well,
down
the
a
first
well-society.
conversation that you and I had was about if herd immunity, way back in March when we began speaking about this, is if herd immunity was going to have an impact on something that the data we had at the time was still not as factual and as complete as you have now.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, do we need now to be beaten up over masks in public and all those other things that we're doing? Right now we have police
Listen,
charging people on the beach. If you come out the water, you had upon a mask to be on the beach, or you're getting $1,000 ticket.
yeah, you get me angry. I talking to you as my brother that I love, and I talk. You're supposed
I'm
to
just
hear
asking
about
you to
it.
say it so other people hear it.
I'm sitting here. I'm trying to preface it first. I'm a scientist, and I did work for the U.S. government too. There are things I cannot say, but I'm going to speak now off the cuff as a Trinbagonian.
Do masks
All
help?
we just say,
Should we be wearing masks?
all we just say is a bunch of bull that these governments doing to the people. Lockdowns do not work. They are devastating. I'm getting to the mask. Lockdowns devastate the society. Let me tell you something. In the United States of America, in the month of June, all persons 18 to 24 we surveyed. That was all university students in America. 1 in 4, 25% of them reported that they seriously considered committing suicide. And the reasons they gave was this: not because of COVID. They could not understand how the governments, the states that they went locked them down and took all of their individuality and their freedom away. They just couldn't deal with it anymore. Let me tell you something. Lockdowns devastate the poor because the poor amongst us, not fortunate like the poverty class and the elites in Trinidad who could afford laptops for their children and sip their latte, their Crocs and their flannel shorts all day, homeschooling and then hiring tutors. It is the lockdowns who have the low-paying jobs in a lockdown, the poor people who cannot get time off, who have to go to work, and now they're going to leave their children at home unattended, and then the children can't go into school because you're closing the schools with these lockdowns, and the children not getting taught properly. Most of the children failing out with this remote learning. Remote learning is the biggest bunch of bullshit ever invented. The children do not learn. We have the data. They are failing out.
All right.
It is garbage.
All right.
Lockdowns are garbage. Remote learning, school closures are garbage. It does not work.
Okay, so I'm saying this thing, right?
Ajay.
I'm saying this thing, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, the government is advised by a chief medical officer who, if he don't drink beers, beers has caused COVID. If he don't go to church, church has caused COVID. He's a jackass. I realize he was a jackass from early. But Trinidadians have no situational awareness and they're not critical thinkers. So they listen to people.
Not critical thinkers.
They listen to people, copy and paste what other people saying. And in his case, he is a student of the WHO. So everything that they say he was saying 2 weeks later in a prime ministerial press conference. Our Minister of Health is a pharmaceutical sales rep. So we're really not getting the right advice that we should get at this juncture, is what I'm asking you. Because we've hospitalized thousands of people. We've spent over $1 billion on COVID in Trinidad and Tobago. They thief money from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund in the name of COVID-19. They've destroyed businesses. The middle class is probably damaged. The low end of the middle class is damaged probably irreparably. But I want to ask you this again, and you could say it so that people understand it. Because now this is something we are going to have to take up with the government. We are going to have to challenge the government's science with our own science. That we should be at a point now where we could look at our own numbers and say, thousands of people hospitalized, we still have the same 100 people dead. And we could track those people, and if you check the data as to the ages and comorbidities and whatever underlying conditions they had, you'd realize why they died. So we should be in a place where science replaces politics and the news cycle. Yes?
But Philip, people like your Minister of Health and your Chief Medical Officer, I I don't want to say anything bad about this.
But I can, because somebody should.
Hold on. I don't live there. I've not been living there for a little bit, so I want to have some respect. The guy probably schooled up and stuff. But if you say he's a student of WHO, WHO has zero credibility right now. They're the laughing stock of the world.
But I'm telling you, if WHO says something today, if I see it on BBC News tonight, I know that they are going to call a press conference in Trinidad within 48 to 72 hours and parrot the same thing.
Phillip, I worked at WHO in 2008, 2009 in Europe. I was working at WHO from the middle of 2019 to March of this year. It was because of my work at WHO that the United States government reached out to me. So let me go on papers to say I worked at WHO. I know these characters. They're bunch of scientists and morons. They're idiots. They're just bureaucrats. It's a patronage kind of position.
All right. So I'm saying to you.
I'm very sorry to hear that this chief medical officer is being guided by WHO. But let me come back to the fact that they raised many things. And I'm going to forget.
Our schoolmate Gary Griffith walked Maracas Beach today with police officers to enforce the law. He is enforcing. He is the commissioner of police. He doesn't write the law. I am hearing you, but I'm saying to you that we now have to challenge the government science with better science. So now we have to take up that as a mandate. But I'm saying to you that today.
People like your CMO, whoever, they talk about, we have to follow the data. We have to follow the science. But they have a problem. They seem unable to read the science. They can't understand the data. And they're not really following the science. The science says plainly that masks do not work. The only mask that works is an N95 in a hospital setting. Every other mask is a load of bull. It's a psychological game they're playing with people now.
Okay,
it
but
does not work.
I want to say,
Let me say it this way. You need to effectively social distance because we have a respiratory virus here that's spreading. So let me explain it this way. Let me explain the mask issue. If I was going into a high-risk situation, let's say I was coming to visit my father, and he's elderly. He have a condition or two, right? I want to protect him. We're still not sure about several things. So I might wear a mask. If I am high risk and I go into a position where I can't socially distance, see, I keep saying it. If you could effectively socially distance from people and keep your hands clean, you see, hand washing is the key here because this pathogen is spread less from aerosol and more from contact. That's what the news not telling you. It's a droplet infection.
Yeah, but Paul, you're killing them with data, but I want to answer a question here. I haven't been to World Odometer for about 3 months because I just give up. But I'm seeing a number. I'm seeing a number that says 1,324,317 people have died from coronavirus worldwide for all of the epidemic. That's the correct number? That is the correct number?
Well, I know about 240,000 have died in the United States.
No, but globally, the whole global number is 1,324,000 in 7 months, 8 months. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 9 months?
Yes. Okay.
That's the total global fatality. Because this COVID-19 obviously is not as detrimental as they made it out to be.
Of course, because millions, multiple more millions than that die every year in the world from all kinds of illnesses. All kinds of illnesses. Let me frame it here another way so you understand what I mean. In the United States, of 350 million people, so far, okay, children from 0 to 10 that have died from COVID is approximately 80 or 90. And we have questions as to, did they really die of COVID with COVID? You understand? Because dying of COVID and with COVID is two different things. But put that aside for now. 90 to 100 children, 0 to 10, they say have died. Well, Phillip, 500 children that age group die every year in America, in the same America, from slipping while walking alongside their family backyard pool and hitting their head and drowning. 500 from unintentional drowning. Do you understand?
I do.
COVID is not what it make it out to be.
No, and
It's a devastating condition to elderly over 80 with conditions.
No.
But for the rest of society, the rest of the world society, you need to go on with your life as normal.
And I
This
hear you.
lockdown,
I hear
the
you.
most devastating thing that could happen, the most devastating thing for our governments to do again is to lock the society down.
And
the consequences of a lockdown is far more catastrophic than COVID.
no, this Trinidad doesn't have a normal economy, Paul. This is not a normal economy. It's a corrupt cocaine economy. So Trinidad is not a normal numbers game. But that aside, they're using COVID-19 to wipe out the people who don't have access to deep pockets. And I gather that.
Of course.
So the science here that you're giving us now, because I'm telling you, I have not been, I used to watch the news every night for the first couple of months, and then I stopped because I realized that it was bullshit. But I can't beat every horse. I can't fight every issue. But I'll tell you this. The science that you gave us tonight is good science, and I think that the people of Trinidad and Tobago needs to have some credible organization challenge the government science, and I think that the government science is bad science. So I'm going to follow up this with you to get more details and more fact and more evidence to be able to give the Prime Minister guidance that I will copy to the public, and hopefully...
Listen, Philip, let me tell it to you as blunt as I can. If you was on a bus and you say, Paul, I have 1 minute. Give me the skinny. This is skinny. Lockdowns do not work.
We get that.
Masks do not work. What works is effective distancing and hand washing. This mask bullshit, devastating people. Let me tell you something. The harms that masks cause, masks are more harmful to the user. It causes infections. They just don't work. Absolutely, they give you a false sense of security and you become more complacent in your behavior. But it just don't work. There's carbon dioxide buildup. You cause all sorts of different illnesses to the user of the masks. So, and the reality about it is, let me say something here. Most of these scientists you see on TV, screening and coming on every minute telling you, reading out a bunch of bull to you, they know, they're chuckling to themselves.
No, but
they're looking at the rest of the
but
population.
the numbers has not supported them, Paul. They're falling down on their own lack of fact. People are waking up to the reality.
The average population smarter than one of these scientists usually looking at television. I'm telling you, I talk to people, I say, wake up. The normal population more schooled and more balanced than these idiotic scientists coming and trying to tell you
1%.
a bunch of stuff that makes no sense.
1% of the Earth's population is 70 million people. And less than 1% of that 1% have died from a virus that we were told was going to decimate planet Earth. So I think all of the bullshit now, the numbers expose it as a lie. So now the public has to start standing up for itself and insisting that the government that works for the people do a better job for the people. I really appreciate it.
It's frightening. They were catastrophically wrong from the beginning.
I get
do not want to admit the government right now and these public health people you talk about do not want to admit
what it is that followed SARS. What it is that followed SARS. There was something right after SARS, and we had a couple deaths in Trinidad from it too. Right after SARS. I know that this was an overcorrection. I just can't remember the name of the disease. But there was
the major outbreaks that we had over these last, let's see, decade or 15 years, there was SARS-1, there was MERS, the Middle Eastern virus, there was Zika, there was the H1N1 in 2009. That's what we're talking about. Swine flu.
I think that this was an overcorrection because the last time the world said the World Health Organization failed. So, and this was an overcorrection. With this one, they went too far. They've damaged the global economy. And
Philip, this year, this ceased being a public health issue and it became a political issue.
Yep.
And that's what devastated us. People across the world use this politically. And governments now finding a way to control populations.
Propaganda politics running the world now.
Yeah.
There are things that, I mean, it is too easy to con and chain up people of color, poor people. The average person doesn't know that in 2016, median household income in America was $62,898, just $257 above its level in 1999. I have all this data and I just quiet. Over the 3 years of Trump, it grew by 6,000 to 68,703 at the lowest level of the economic run. And those people whose lives were turned around and given a remarkable boost lined up to take Biden's blade, to cut their throat and vote themselves back into bullshit. Listen, I watch it, I see, and I know, so I'm telling you.
I worked for President Trump. That's all I'm going to tell you, and I can't say more. But I'm very glad, I'm very happy what you just said. Because I'm going to tell you something here. You need to understand. Okay? And I'll end this because now we're moving from disease into politics.
Yeah, I think we should stick up in there and don't go down the political road, but I was just telling you.
I can't because I'm limited as to what I could say.
I understand.
But I'll tell you one thing. Just to move on to what you said. At no time in American history have Black Americans, African Americans, however you want to call it, like we have African Trinidadians or Black Trinidadians.
They've not done better than under Trump. I know. The numbers are there again.
More than under Trump. They have benefited in a way with.
But you see, saying it now doesn't help. And you're talking to people who do not use critical thinking. And trying to have an argument with people who are beyond reason makes no sense. I stop arguing it. I watch people who, their whole argument is grab them by the pussy. Grab them by the pussy, brought down. Quite possibly, the number's going to tell you. They're going to try and blame him for things that rightfully belong to other people. But I don't want to go into America. I don't want to get into Trinidad politics. I want to tell you though, I am beyond politics now. The Citizens Union.
I could probably say, when I was reached out to help in the COVID United States, I gladly said yes initially for one reason. Because somebody of a person of color, we come from the islands and we have Black family too. I'm proud of it, Middle Eastern family.
Yeah, but no, we have Black family, yeah.
Right, I'm very proud of it. I'm glad all that shit running through my veins. But what I also knew is, because I'm a man of data and science, when I looked at the evidence, I saw how Black Americans have prospered and was coming out of the hood under Trump. And I was saying, but wait, they had a colored president for 8 years who left them with record unemployment.
Brother, you cannot bring rational data to a grab them by the pussy conversation. Cannot. People are saying, people are watching me and telling me that there is a race war in America. I say, where's the war?
No.
People say Trump is Hitler.
No.
I say the man is the only president in America's history that has not gone to war with another nation. He's shut down wars. He ended ISIS and Al Qaeda. How people going to, and you're going to vote, you're going to give something as important as your vote on how you think the person speaks. I remember Robin Williams, when Monica Lewinsky said to the world that she had Bill Clinton's DNA on her dress. Robin Williams said, I don't care if he fucking chickens. If he doing the job we hire him for, die the work. And people,
The election is not over.
I know it's not over. I know it's not over. But you know what upsets me?
I'm not in a position to
No,
say more than what I just said.
No, I know. Rational intelligent people, otherwise educated people. But it's too easy to use black skin against black minds. It's far too easy. And that's why out of politics, more than anything, more than anything, what they just did, Trump, and why we have a Rowley, makes me realize that you cannot. There is a saying from all the way back to slavery days. You cannot free fools from chains that they revere. I realize I don't have Trump money, I don't have Trump connection, and I don't have that man, the man prolific. He have a commitment to a cause. I don't give up a long time. I don't have that. If they're gonna see that kind of response from a president and on grab them by the pussy and bullshit race war. Where's the race war? They're marching against Trump for things that happened under Obama. And I know and I see, but they couldn't march against Obama. So like the woman in Carnage, there a woman in Carnage in Trinidad whose granddaughter had get shot to death in crossfire between police and bandits. So they don't know who to march against, so they're marching. And the grandmother ripping her clothes and pulling her hair out her head and calling down God, Elijah, and Moses and saying she want her dead. And then she see Rowley. Dr. Rowley, I vote for you, I'm voting for you again. You're cussing the fruit of the poison tree and you're worshipping what represents, because Rowley's not the only one. Rowley, Manning, Pandey, Kamla, Keith Rowley. All of them, the whole kit and caboodle. After I watch what people make political choices on, I done with politics. Vasant Bharat and his 31 push-ups or 30 push-ups, let them vote for that. I'm done. People asking me, telling me, your time will come. My time done. I ain't want no part of it again. To go and fight up with my last remaining years, to change people's lives conditions, to have a corrupt media do that, not me. Not this fool.
Well, it is immediate, and I would hope that when you see it, there's just even a 0.5% opening. That's all, and let the next couple of years pass to see if you're really putting nail in that coffin. But I wanted to add something because I'm very proud of you, very, very proud. Because let me tell you something, and I will tell President Trump, and that's the only thing I'll say it here, what my brother said. And that's the only way, and I will leave it just like that. Because I'm very proud of what you said. Because let me tell you this. There's something that Trump did called prison sentencing reform that the media failed to cover. But I'll tell you what it is. Trump he forged and forced the passage of a bill that allowed black Americans who were in prison for the last 22 years of their life for selling weed, little bags of and shit. Spending 20 years, set them free. They have a second chance at life. Obama didn't do that. But I don't want to get into it because you see.
But you don't want to get into it, but I had to tell them. Faris and Rawi promised Trinidadians 4 weed plants of their own, I guess to grow, roll, and smoke. But they have Wayne Sturge, who's the #1 criminal attorney, have the most criminal cases of any lawyer before the court in this country. He said about 70% of the people in jail in Trinidad and Tobago in remand yard is weed, you know. It's weed. So if the government, and this is 2 years ago that Faris and them stunt for them, and if the government really was interested in releasing them, but it's $25,000 and $30,000 a month they budget to house these people in remand yard. That money going somewhere. It costs more money to transport these people up and down to trial for years, for a matter that should be resolved in 24 hours. It takes years, and they drive them up and down and pay hundreds of millions of dollars to a private contractor. So nobody have an interest in ending this really. And instead, they've come and cut gate. They say, we can't afford to educate you. I mean, it can't be so easy to use black skin against black minds. It cannot be. And I am not black enough. Just tell me that. Just tell me that. Philip, you talk like you want to be a black champion, but you're not black enough. And I accept all of it now. August the 10th, election night. I was clear. I said, My political career over August 10th, I had to go into government, that is public service, that's not politics. Why done? Citizens Union is public service. Politics, I'm not interested in it again. We don't have the money to fool people. I mean, to bribe them, to buy them. The way governments are elected in this world is the reason the world and every country that fails is because of that. Nobody could tell me that the 41 people in our parliament is the best and the brightest that we have. Our cabinet, our government represents the best and the brightest in this country, because Trinidad and Tobago is a complete latrine pit. Nothing works. Nothing works. If you come home, nothing works in Trinidad. Nothing. There is nothing that you could ask me about any level of public service. And even the highest office holders agree with me in private. They can't say it publicly. They agree. Philip, we've literally built a rat nest. This is a jackass farm. Trinidad is set up to fail. You know what I say? Cigarettes is the only product in the market, if used as directed, will kill you. Anything else you have to misuse. This, if you use it as directed, it will kill you. We've set an entire country up to press poor black people down, keep them unemployable. They will never contribute significantly to the treasury, and then tax everybody else to give them handouts to keep them voting for the PNM. I mean, that's all Trinidad is. So that financiers could loot this country. They're taking the last few things, the port, the pitch lake. These things are literally on the chopping block. They took Petrotrin. They've sold Petro. They shut it down without having a clue what they was doing with it, and nobody cared. Nobody's marching, nobody's standing up. They don't care. And if they don't care, why should I care? That's the reality. And I'm only saying this to you because it's you on the phone and you haven't been here for a long time. Trinidad have nowhere to go. Any Trinidadian that you see outside and thinking about coming back home, the Trinidad that they remember, tell them that over. It is over. People call me from on a gurney in a hospital. She did 24 hours. There are people who go to our hospital emergency room with stroke symptoms and sent away because the emergency room is closing, come back on Monday, on Friday. This is a thing that we spend $5 billion on a year for 1 million people. And only a quarter of the population uses public health. The rest go anywhere else. Do not put God out your thoughts and think Trinidad is somewhere to come and live. Now, don't be mad. Don't be mad at all. Tell everybody that.
I just want to tell you, just to make sure that we're clear on something. So that you say you're advising the PM or the powers that be. There is no place in this world, none, that there is any evidence, none. Britain had one of the most stringent lockdowns in the world, and now they're going to lockdown again because the cases rose. It's a simple thing. This is an infectious contagion. It is an infectious, it's a pathogen. It is highly infectious. So when people mingle and the society free, they will get infected. A case is just a case. What is very important to look at is, do those cases result in hospitalizations? Do they result in need for ICU and critical care? Do they result in death, appreciable death? If the answer is no, you do not lock your society down.
Paul,
you actually need to
Paul, you're absolutely right. And you're absolutely right. And I want to tell you something. Anytime that you could identify a subsect of society as being the target for the pathogen, anytime that you could identify that it is targeting and killing only one small section of society, and you don't focus your efforts on that small section of society, but lock the whole society down, you've committed a criminal act. You've committed a criminal act because you've destroyed people's livelihoods. Suicide.
Correct.
Suicide killing more people than COVID-19 right now worldwide.
Because when the man have to close or the woman have to close the business, shut it for months, then they have to close it. They commit suicide.
Yeah.
When closing it, they lay off everybody.
Yep.
Those staff commit suicide. They take drug overdoses. I have the data in the United States. Tens of thousands of people have hung themselves. It is known. So locking a society down is devastating, and it's the worst thing you can do. You have to aid the target.
No,
Focus only
but exactly.
on the at-risk.
But when they found out, when the data was clear, when they were fighting to find young people, when they were fighting to find a couple young people who died and say, but look, it's attacking everybody. They started to, I know that they were just trying to find exceptions to prove their rule, to benefit what they were trying to sell us. But I know, and I realized then, that they knew that it wasn't the whole society that was at risk. They knew.
And they had too much power. They couldn't let it go. That's the issue here. These public health people now, they're drunk with power, and they can't admit they're wrong. They can't come to people and say, we were wrong. So this is how we're going to approach it now. Now they have to do your worst. So they could come up with an excuse and say, this thing was worse. Look, we have to continue it. And then one day, when you're completely destroyed, they say, no, we fix it. But there will be nothing to come back to, my
That's
brother.
called shock doctrine. That's called shock doctrine. They've been using that for a long time to control people.
Right.
Brother, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's running late now, and
Lockdowns don't work.
lockdown.
Masks don't work. And school closures. Little children are the lowest risk. The risk of severe illness or death for little children, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, is virtually zero. Zero. You do not keep a child home.
It would have been cheaper, far more cost effective, if we had quarantined the elderly above a certain age. If we had provided quarantine for the elderly above a certain age. Look, Derek Chain and Movie Town. Movie Town closed down a branch. Cinema 8 in South Park closed down. I mean, large things took a hit too, you know. And it's...
I talking to these politicians here. I'm telling you what they're telling me quietly on conditions of anonymity. We know we fucked up. We know we're wrong. We know. But for us to admit it, we're going to get voted out next election. So we had to continue on. You have to understand what we're facing. It's the people now have to stop the governments. Make them understand that we will vote you out, and don't forget it. But the problem is the government just get back elected.
And
so
that's,
they know they have an next 3 years.
And that's the problem. When you could deceive people who are seeing fact, who are seeing what they're seeing and convincing them that what they're seeing is not what they're seeing, is a different game, Paul. Politics is a different thing. COVID-19 may be a tool, but it's not going to go away just on public information. In Trinidad, like America, it is far too easy to fool the masses than it is to educate them. And undertaking that as a responsibility, people quicker say you're mad. People quicker say you're wrong. People quicker find a reason to justify an excuse. Terence Dial Singh, our pharmaceutical sales rep of a Minister of Health, had started to beat a bandwagon about there being a second wave. And I had done a video outside the Prime Minister's office that launched TikTok in Trinidad because everybody, it went beyond viral. When I asked him, where the second wave supposed to come from, Terence, if we locked down months now, we have no coronavirus and the airport closed. Where it coming from, your mommy? That went viral because Trinidadians couldn't find a way to enunciate what they wanted to ask, and that made it very simple. In truth, are the Martians going to bring it? And when they realized that they were caught trying to defend their position. They had an election. They opened borders. They allowed people in. Planes were landing in this country. The country closed. You had to beg to come home, but planes landing and taking off at will. And we end up with some more infections, but still not enough to justify the heavy-handedness of having the police. I tried to intervene in an arrest. When I say intervene, not intervene in the arrest, ask the officer if I could maybe help him come to a position other than arresting a man who was working on the beach. But I mean, I know that it escalated beyond him just not having a mask, because the lowest classes don't treat with police the same as the middle classes, because they have a different experience with police. So their response is set up a different way. But having our police service patrolling the beach to ticket people who not wearing masks when they come out of the water. I asked the Prime Minister, where people supposed to put the mask when they go in the water?
This is the most funniest thing you're telling me. Everybody understands the way you deal with pathogen anywhere when the times of consumption long ago in Trinidad.
Put them in the sun.
You aerosolize the place, you open, you let the breeze flow. Yes. When you open air, it's like watching these people driving in the car with a mask on by themselves, but they're going for a run with a mask. You open air, you don't need no mask. People are so ill-informed, either they're stupid.
Last night I by the Westmoreland traffic light, and I'm looking in my rearview mirror. They have a man and a woman in the car behind me, and they're both wearing masks, but she's snuggling up on him, and they're pulling down their masks to kiss each other and then put back up their masks. Now, how?
It's so ludicrous. It's so funny. You're ashamed. You're concerned because you're saying, but people's that stupid. People not thinking. I mean, to put on a mask to go for a walk down the street in the open air, the wind flowing, you can't spread nothing to nobody. You can't get anything. It is like people are insane now, and this is what the media has done.
They frightened them beyond sense. Paul.
Yes. What they did was they frightened Johnny and Susie to lockdown. And now, Johnny and Susie not even coming out to play. Because they have nothing you could tell them to tell them it's safe now. So now they're the victims of what they created. But I'm going to end by saying this. Just listen to my sentence. There is absolutely no evidence across the entire world, no country, that any lockdown has prevented any illness. None. You only delay the inevitable. The cases will skyrocket each time. Lockdowns are not effective. You allow the well in your society to go on with their life, and who gets infected will have low consequences or no consequences even. And you have a chance of developing some level of herd immunity as we await for vaccine, as we await for the pathogen to keep mutating downwards and become less virulent. Because one day it will become so weak, it will just be an endemic thing. It will be like the common cold. You might get it, you will never know you get it, and that's it. COVID will be out of your discussion. But right now, these politicians, some of them mean well, but they're so idiotic. They're so ill-informed. They're taking these bureaucratic medical experts who are just bench scientists.
No, I don't accept that. I don't accept that, because the number's too easy to see. If you were fooling people, in February, March, and April, I get that. But by September and October, August, September, October, you had to see that this was not the killer virus that people compare it to the Spanish flu. We have a weatherman, Eric Mackey, trying to explain to people how second waves work, and I had to tell him, I said, listen, man, the second wave that happened in World War I only happened because World War I ended, and all the soldiers went back to all the different countries and took COVID-19, took Spanish flu all over the world. That's why there was a second wave. There's no second wave to come here. You gotta make a second wave. But anyway, we're going on and on with this. I want to ask you, any official evidence that you have, statistics and data, conclusions that you have, that you could send to me or email to me that I can make public, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and let me end by saying something because we're working on it right now. The trust now, Philip, and maybe you could inform the Prime Minister and inform the moronic public health people. I ain't saying the CMO, I'm not calling names.
I calling his name. He should know better.
I call all these medical experts across the world, these you see on TV, morons, absolutely illogical, nonsensical, buffoons.
Has any politician anywhere on the planet died from COVID-19?
I can't tell you any. I can't come up.
I would have known if it was anybody important.
No,
so people have gotten at Elon Musk asking how he could test positive twice.
No, my God, I was watching this Erica Badu, positive in one nose and negative in the next. Listen, all these COVID tests is a bunch of bull. They have a high level of false positive and false negative. You always knew that. You can't even rely on the test. But let me finish what I'm saying. This is important for Trinidad. Please get to the Prime Minister with this. This is important. We understand that we've been pushing this, but the government have not been listening, and President Trump has been advocating for this. I am telling you something important. We know that early treatment of outpatient elderly people, so like our parents, like most of your friends' parents who still live in their houses, in their private homes, or might be in an old age home. You're not in hospital, but you are elderly, so you are considered an outpatient. You're not a hospitalized patient, but you test positive with COVID. We know now that if you intervene there and do not wait to take them to the hospital in a week, because what is happening is when somebody parent tests positive, they might run out of temperature, person is like 75 or 80, and you say, you know what, mommy, let's wait and see if you get any coughs or anything, wait a week or so and see. And she's feeling well across the week. But what you don't understand is, mommy is now on a continuum. She is going to degenerate in 1 week. We know, and you.
So what you're saying is, once the elders show symptoms, massive intervention one time.
Once the elder tests positive and have the most basic of symptoms, they are high-risk person for severe sequelae and death.
Yeah.
You need to intervene then, and we know.
But Paul, we have that information since August, sir. You gave me that information since August, and we've put it out there. I want to ask you this. No, but it's not making a difference. I can go and staple it around his head. It's not going to make a difference to these people if it's not in their agenda. So don't feel like Trinidad is a real country. It's not.
It's some early antivirals, some corticosteroids.
What is the benefit? What's the benefit of D3?
Vitamin D3 is, what do you mean? Is play a role in the immune system. The optimal type of D is sunlight.
Should people be augmenting their vitamin C routine with D3 too?
Listen, if somebody in the Caribbean eating a normal balanced meal and they have a normal diet and they get in sunlight is not the one sunbathe in your.
But normal sunlight, normal exposure to sun, yeah. They don't need it. They don't need to augment the D.
It's 3 minutes. All you need to do is if you can stick your hand out your bedroom window for 3 minutes and let some sun fall on the
So
back of your
D3
hand,
augmentation is not for the tropics. Not even for the elders.
If the elderly being kept indoors, like our parents I know right now, then you give them the supplement because you're not letting them get a vitamin with sunlight.
All right. Okay.
So let me tell you the package, please. I need to say it.
Say it.
There's some antivirals. We know ivermectin, etc. works. We know the corticosteroid, dexamethasone, prednisolone, etc. But we also know in that package is a combination of zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D.
But those aren't. But prednisolone is not broad spectrum.
These are corticosteroids that the doctor have to dose appropriately and time appropriately to suppress the inflammatory response, the immune response.
Right.
Right? Listen to me. Aspirin. All of this is part of the package, and we know because what happened in the elderly, like our parents, 80 years old, etc., they're suffering from some thrombotic micro clots that we need to thin the blood. So you don't want them on harsh like heparin, etc. in hospital. You're outpatient, you give them aspirin and stuff. What I'm trying to tell you is the word out today is this. The most proactive, forward-facing, frontline treatment is for our elderly who are COVID positive before they degenerate into severe illness. You put them on this package of medications. It prevents them going to the hospital in the first place. That's the key.
Send it to me and I will get it to go viral. I want to answer Ephraim Gabriel, who's saying Kamala was right. Kamala wasn't right. I'll tell you why Kamala wasn't right, why she was made to look like an ass.
Right about
just now, wait, Paul. Just now, Paul, wait. Ephraim Gabriel, when you write if Kamala was right, Kamala heard about sunlight being a cure for COVID on this wall first. But she didn't understand in what circumstances and under what conditions. So when they called her out, she couldn't defend it. And that's why she looked like a fool and we left her to look like a fool. It's also why Keith Rowley heard on this wall that people should pay for their own quarantine, and he went and repeat that nonsense and get a backlash. And we did that to set both of them up. So no, she was never right because she didn't know what the hell she was talking about. She was plagiarizing as usual. You could, Paul, anything that you have that you want to give people, right? Send it for me now. Any of your...
Right now,
yeah.
Yes, I'll send you everything, but let me close one more time.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the right support in the hospitals for our elderly, our precious Trinbagonians and Caribbean people. You need to get the message out. We cannot allow them to go to the hospitals because they don't have the support. They will die. They have died.
If you give me the stuff.
We need to treat them in their homes now. And there is medication. There is medication now we know that works. They will not have to go to hospital, and if they do, they will not decline to death. We need to treat them at home.
Understand.
Proactively.
Send us everything that you want me to send viral and public, and I will. Yeah?
All right.
Thanks a lot for this, though. Appreciate it. Later. That was my brother, Dr. Paul Elias Alexander. Yeah, they have more. Like me. People sending me, Mr. Phillip, did he send out his photos from flight number 3483, Thursday, November 12th, Caribbean Airlines, coming from Miami. All passengers sit 3 in a row on the back half of plane while the front half was empty. Yeah. What you gonna do? Blow it up, make it an issue? These people don't care. You can't shame people who have no shame, you know. People have no shame. These people have no shame. None whatsoever. You think the CMO know that he don't know? Do you think the Minister of Health like being embarrassed? You think so? That every time we do a show like this, that we embarrass all 41 in the parliament. They have nothing on the government side and nothing on the opposition side that should fill anybody with pride tonight. You might be proud of your skin color, my skin color in the parliament, but that is all. And it don't represent you and not benefiting you. I'll talk for another time. Our reality going forward is, and this can't change. Trinidad is how it is because of lazy, hypocritical, racist voting. And the only way that's going to change is if we as a people change. The Citizens Union is taking membership sign-ups now. Everything is on track. citizensuniontt.org, citizensuniontt.com. You could call 769-4590 for an emergency sign-up if you need it. You could message me and I'll pass the information on. By the next live video, I will have the list of cut numbers. They have a bunch of numbers. That is our area code, CUTT. So we will give you all of those next time around. And I think that we accomplished what we set out to accomplish tonight. Those of you who were with us tonight, we crossed the 2-hour mark, and that's pretty long for a live. And I appreciate you all staying here. I want to thank my brother, Paul, who he was stationed inside the White House during the pandemic and the election. He saw a lot of things up close, firsthand. But we've been on top of a lot of these things. The economy could turn around. We told you all, there is an actual plan to get $100 billion invested in this country as seed money that will probably bring $1 trillion with it Trinidad and Tobago does not have to fail, but it probably will fail if we don't act. Listen, there is only so much one person could do, but there is a hell of a lot 1,000 could do, 10,000 could do, 100,000 could do. The Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago is the stronger together movement. Red, white, black, green, every shade in between. If you're a Trini living abroad, if you're a foreigner living here, you could join the Citizens Union. It represents all of our people. Okay? So you don't have to ask no questions. It is beyond politics. It transcends politics. We're not political. So you could be PNM or UNC or COP or whatever. Join the Citizens Union, because when you call those parties for help, there's nobody on the other end of the line. Or if somebody answers, they're not somebody that can assist you. But you do know, because you've seen the amount of problems we solved when the gangsters had Maracas Beach under control and were spacing out lounging chairs until they had to pay or they couldn't stay. And it is I that dealt with the tourism company and the police service and got it solved. You've seen that when we touch things, we fix it. You want to make sure that when you pick up that phone and you call somebody for help, somebody that can help. The Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago is a coming together of all of us, 1.4 million of us. You want government to work? Let's speak with one voice, stronger together. Sign up tonight, right now. Don't do nothing else. Go on citizensuniontt.org and fill out that form, or WhatsApp 7694590 and say, this is my name. I want somebody to call me on this number and sign me up.